And there we go. All right. I have a little bit of a secret plan today. I was going to have more interaction in this webinar than you normally get in webinars. So I hope you guys are on your computer, and I hope you volunteer to play with this with me. Um, so in this mini bite, we're going to talk about annotating Google Slides and some other fun tools. The annotating part of the Google Slides is a really short lesson, but there's some other cool things that we can do as well. And what I'm going to do is just go through these short slides just to kind of see if anybody else comes into the room, and then we'll get started playing with Google Slides. So first off, I'm going to start my slideshow, and this is indeed Google Slides. And then the thing I want to point out is on this slide, there's this a short video, a summary video, and then I'll post some instructions there as well. And you'll have these slides like in your calendar, in the description of your calendar. But what you can do is you can open up these slides on a separate monitor and try out some of the features as well. You just have to, let me get out of that for a second. You just have to make a copy so you have complete control. Okay. So we're going to talk about how you can deliver and visually engaging slides and presentations using annotations, the laser pointer. You can black out your screen, white out your screen, and you can navigate by number by pressing keys on your keyboard. You can turn on captions, and you can receive questions from the Q&A tool. And that one's pretty cool. Has anyone done any of these? Like, how are we with using some of these tools? I know it's kind of, you could put your answer in the chat. I know it's kind of daunting just to even present in front of an audience or present in Zoom, and then to remember all these tools. I kind of forget. So has anyone used any? Okay, great.
Yeah,
Cindy.
I
Okay.
didn't know about the navigate by number. And I think there was something else that you said they can do.
Yeah, we're going to play with all of them.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm really interested in learning about that.
okay, great. All right, just one quick note. I find that these Google screens, they have a lot of little tools on them. And it reminds me of the time when I used to read the newspaper, and I would read, sometimes when I was motivated, I'd read cover to cover, and I would see all the little articles on all the little square inches of the paper. And I want to encourage everybody to just kind of click on everything you see, every little inch on the screen, see what there is for you to use, because there might be some cool tools for you to use. And, that's just my little soapbox there for this slide. And then we're going to talk about some hidden tools here and some keyboard shortcuts that I think are really important. And then, of course, if you ever need any help, it's just help.stonybrook.edu to get you some assistance, whether it's something that's broken, you have an error, or you just need a helping hand. Okay, so we're going to get started. Now, I didn't start my slideshow like I should have because I wanted to show you some of the tools. So I can start my slideshow. And but one thing I don't like about this full screen is that it absorbs everything, my entire browser, and I need to see my browser tab so I can switch from the slides to something else, like a website. So one way to do that is, and then you don't see any of the tools here. So if you just kind of move your mouse around, you'll see the only tools that you'll see when you're in slideshow mode. And if you click on the three dots here, they're hidden if you move away. But if you click on the three dots here, and what I always do is exit full screen. Okay. And the reason why I do that is because if I wanted to show my slides, but then I want to show something in Brightspace or another website, I can just type in a website here and then it'll, then I can toggle between the website and my slides. So, sometimes I need to show other, maybe sometimes I need to have other websites available, so I can toggle between the two. So I find that useful. I don't know if you find that useful, give me a thumbs up. If not, we'll move on. But I definitely find it useful to have the tabs here. Another thing I do before my presentation is sometimes I have my bookmarks bar up here, but I hid it. And so I'll show you a quick way to open and close your bookmarks bar. If you press Control Shift B, you'll see all my bookmarks. But when I'm presenting, I don't want to show all my bookmarks. So I'll press Control Shift B again to toggle it off. Okay. And of course, when you're typing in something into the browser, so I'll do that again. It starts to show your stuff or your search history. This I can't really control, but what you can control is deleting your search history. And to do that quickly before you go into a Zoom, you want to press Control Shift and then delete. And then you'll be able to clear your browsing history of all time. Make sure if you're on basic, make sure it's not just the last hour, make sure it's advanced and then all time. And then clear browser history. You may have to log in again, but that's something you definitely want to do before you do Zoom or show your screen. All right. So the next thing I want to show is if we go down here, we can we can open our speaker notes. So if I had speaker notes, which I don't. So here's your speaker notes up here. So I can type in, here are the speaker notes. Oops, trying to reconnect. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my slideshow. I'm going to go and exit the full screen. And then if I want to see my speaker notes, I'm going to call on who will volunteer for me? Think I can get maybe Jessica to volunteer or Patik? Cindy?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to give um, Jessica the ability to move my mouse around. Okay, so Jessica, you can click on my mouse that you see here, and you should be able to move my mouse around. Okay,
Um,
great.
do you see it?
Yes, I
Okay.
do. Okay, so what I want you to do is just press S on your keyboard, and it should open up my speaker notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then if you go back to the first slide, okay, or actually, was it the first slide or the second slide? I think it was the second slide. Go to the second slide, and then tap S. Good. So there you see my speaker notes, and it's just a quick way. If you can't find, the tools down at the bottom, you can just press S on your keyboard and bring up your speaker notes. Okay, great. Thank you, Sydney. I'm sorry, Jessica. You can close this speaker notes window. Just press
I
the
thought
X.
the X. Okay.
If you see it, it's like way at okay, good.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So the next thing I want to show you is go ahead and click on the three dots. Let's play around with the laser.
So, okay.
And you got to be
Um,
careful because when you click around, it's going to move the slides to the next slide.
oh, I
Okay.
see.
So what you can do is just you can click on it that way, or if you notice there was the key L will turn on the laser for us. So if you click off of that menu and press L on your keyboard, that'll turn on the laser as well. Okay, good. You got the laser on. Great. All right, let's try another one. Um, the other one is turn on the pen. That one is Shift L. So you can click on turn on the pen here, or you can press Shift L on your keyboard to, right. So go ahead and draw on my screen. The pen will draw on my screen. So if you wanted to write out a calculation, or if you wanted to draw something to kind of diagram it, you can also change the color. Jessica, can you find a way to change the color? Click on the little pen, and then there
Oh,
you
there
can
we
change
go.
it to blue.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for volunteering, Jessica. I'm gonna get another volunteer. Pratik, can I get you to volunteer?
Yes.
All right. So Pratik, your job is to click on my mouse so that you can control my screen. And then I want you to change the color to green and then just kind of draw something.
Okay.
So you got to hover over the bottom left of your screen. And then you can click on the little pen down at the bottom where it's blue, and you can change it to green, and then you get to draw as well. So if you want to, you can have any of your participants do something on your screen, but in different colors, and then present off of that. Okay. And then do one more thing for me, Pratik. Click on
Sure.
the other icon next to the green and click on that. The one move over one. It looks,
Oh,
it's,
this
yeah.
one.
And then click on erase all and it erases all the annotations. Okay. All right. So
Perfect.
thank you, Pratik, for volunteering. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then we're going to move on to some of the other cool tools. So that was annotation. See, it's really easy to do, and it's a really short lesson. So some of the other cool things that we can do is maybe you're not going to present from your slides. Maybe you just want pictures in the background looping while your in-person audience just it looks at you, the presenter, and then you speak to your audience uh, during your presentation. You can have your slides move every 3 seconds and then check off loop here. So that way the pictures just keep looping in the background while you speak. I'm not going to turn that on because it'll just be distracting. Um, Another thing you can do, and I do this very often, is I turn on captions. Now, it doesn't say here, turn on captions. The only way to turn them on is to click on toggle captions English only. So when I do that, what's going to happen, I just have to allow my microphone, and then anything I say will be posted at the bottom of the Google Slides screen. And I think this is helpful for people who maybe English isn't their first language, or maybe somebody who just can't hear you for some reason. So I generally leave these on whenever I'm using Google Slides, just out of habit. Another thing we can do is if I click on more, and while I'm in this screen, I can download these slides as a PDF or a PowerPoint or get it ready to print. But this is really cool, this Q&A feature. It brings up this Q&A window right here. And when you're ready for your big audience to start posting questions to you, you need two monitors for this. One monitor to show you slides and another monitor to push this off so you can look at it on the side. But I'm just going to look at it right here for a second. And then if I click on Start New, oh, where'd my slides go? Hold on. I seem to have lost my slides. There they are. So when you turn on Q&A, your audience can go on their phones and then type this into a browser and then start asking you questions. Now, if you want to really test it out, you can go ahead and let me just move my screens around. You can type that into your phone and then ask me a question. I will see it on this screen that's on a hidden monitor that you don't see. Sorry, just moving my screens around so I can see everything. All right. So
Okay.
go
So,
ahead. Oh, go
uh,
ahead, Jessica. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. So I have another monitor at home, so I could just type this in.
Yeah,
Could
do it
I
on another
copy,
monitor.
and paste this link and like put it in the chat?
Yeah, let me try that. I'll do that for you. So I can say, hey, everybody, put this into click on that and put it in your browser, and you can go ahead and ask me questions. And it's great for an audience that may be too shy to speak up, or maybe even too intimidated to post onto the chat, because when you ask a question, it attaches, in the chat, it attaches their name to the question. So I can read the questions on my other monitor, and I could see that Cindy says, "Hi, this is cool." All right. And I'm going to give that a thumbs up. Can I give it a thumbs up?
It looks
Well,
like I
I can
can.
present it, and
Yes.
I could click on present. See, I'll just bring that screen down just really quick. I clicked on present so that way people can see it in the slides, and then I'm going to hide it. Okay. And then there's another question that I can present, and then of course I can hide it as well. Okay, so that's kind of neat if you wanted to, oh, one other thing with this Q&A tool, if you really want it to be anonymous, decide, you kind of want to decide if you really want to make it anonymous or not, or show the questions. But right now it's only accepting questions from people who are logged into their mail, their Stony Brook account. But I can change that so that way if I'm presenting to people who may not have a Stony Brook account, that will make it more anonymous. Okay. All right. Oh, and then when I'm done accepting questions, I just turn it off, and then my slides go back to the way they were. All right. Okay. So what'd you think about that?
Pretty neat.
How would you use it in your current roles? How would you use it? You can type it into the chat. Let me know how you might use this. I would be interested to know. Let me move on to the next slide. Oh, ah. So I can use my arrows to move on to the next slide if I'm stuck on the drawing and I can't click to move on, which I am. I'll just move my arrows. So here are some other tools that I really like. Some of them I don't like. So for example, I can use the arrow buttons to go forward and back. Okay. I also like these home and end buttons, but Macs don't. I don't think some laptops have a home and an end button, so you may not be able to use that. You can see here, we can click on the S to get to our speaker notes. Open audience tool. I'm not quite sure what that is. Let me press A. See. Oh, that's the questions tool. And then another thing I like here is that if I press the W, it whites out my screen. So that way I stop allowing my audience to look at the screen and then have them look at me and have the focus onto me. And if I press W again, it brings back my slides. And again, you could do that with black by pressing the B on your keyboard and then toggle back by pressing B again. This is also helpful if you accidentally touch your keyboard and something happens and you don't know how to bring it back. So if your screen just goes black or white and you don't know how that happened, maybe press the W or the B on your keyboard. And I think that is it. That is all. Oh, there's one more thing that's kind of cool. And this is the last thing I'm going to show you. So all these slides here, if I click on here, there's the slide picker. So you know, the first slide is you know, it's always the title that's listed here. So if I need to go back to the first one, I can press the home key, or I can press just click on here, or if I want to, on my keyboard, I can press 1 and then enter. And that brings me to the first one. And then likewise, I can press 5, enter, and that brings me back to where I was. So you can press the numbers and then enter to get to those slides that you see here. You'd have to memorize the number of your which slide you want, though. So that's kind of something that you'd have to really know your slides. And lastly, if you need any help, you can always go to help.stonybrook.edu to get any assistance or to get any errors resolved or to fix your computer. Okay. All right. That was my entire presentation. I will stay on for any questions or, and it doesn't have to be about what I presented today. It could be about anything about Google Slides. I'm going to turn off the recording.